Skill-based matchmaking will change NBA 2K forever. I was shocked but not surprised last year when 2K added skill-based matchmaking on NBA 2K25. I honestly held off on speaking on it last year just because 2K25 had so much problem skill-based matchmaking wasn't even one of the main issues. Also because my channel got this big by pretty much talking about Call of Duty's matchmaking issues since about 2019 and talking about how their current version of skill-based matchmaking pretty much ruined their gaming experience over time. So pretty much I'm saying I was pretty drained from matchmaking talks already. So because of that, I held off on matchmaking talks when it came to 2K, but trust me, I do have a lot of thoughts on what this means for their franchise moving forward. And that's what this video will be about today. So for those who are just strictly 2K players and don't play other and haven't played much other PvP games, let me explain what skill-based matchmaking is and why people are so on the fence about it and why you're seeing the term so much lately. A lot of people complain about it, but you also see a good amount of people saying it's necessary. So skill-based matchmaking is usually added to PvP games in an attempt to give everyone a fair playing experience. Sounds innocent, right? Well, let me tell you why it's an issue in general when it comes to a game like NBA 2K. The main issue with skill-based matchmaking is if it's not done correctly, there's no way to truly improve at the game. Heavy on the if not done correctly, because don't get me wrong, skill-based matchmaking is necessary in game, but it's best if skill-based matchmaking stays inside of ranked and competitive game modes where you're working towards something and have ranks to climb that are visible. Adding skill-based matchmaking to your casual playlist pretty much removes the casual gaming experience ultimately. The next issue you might run into with skill-based matchmaking in casual playlists is connection and ping not being prioritized. Now I'm not saying it's not factored in because I do believe that it is. But when you add something else like skill to the equation, it pretty much makes it impossible to ever be playing the game on the best connection that you possibly can. Now, I'm not saying that you're just going to be out there lagging every game. But you will face more inconsistencies when it comes to your connection on a game-to-game basis. The next issue with skill-based matchmaking inside a casual playlist is repeated competition. This happens because you are being limited to only playing people in the game that the game itself has determined at your skill level based off whatever metric they're going by. You find yourself running into the same players a lot. And that's just something that shouldn't happen on a big franchise like 2K or Call of Duty. The next issue with skill-based matchmaking is rank modes eventually become easier and more casual than the casual game modes do. Obviously, this is because once you hit a certain level, you're only playing against a certain level. Now, this is where a lot of you skill-based matchmaking defenders say, well, you just want to stomp on lower skill players. Nope, that's a complete cop-out and a misconception when we talk about skill-based matchmaking. The real issue is you get to a point where you are having to lock in to play the best of whatever rank you are for no real incentive that you would get inside of a ranked mode. The reason games have always had separate playlists, casual playlists and the ranked playlist, was so players can make a choice to play in a more competitive environment. With strict skill-based matchmaking inside casual playlists, you're giving all the half-decent and good players and great players no option but to always be 100% locked in instead of grinding and actually getting to enjoy the game on a casual level. Now, casual playlists with ping-based matchmaking being the priority, then matchmaking skill based off the lobby that you get based off of ping is what should be done. That's the reason why older 2K titles and the older Call of Duty titles, the casual playlist used to have a certain amount of randomness to it. It was chaotic, it was sporadic, because that's how casual playlists are supposed to be. It's supposed to have that randomness to it. You're not supposed to really know what you're getting into. You are supposed to be able to go on a 10-game win streak and then you run into some sweats out of nowhere based off of ping, not based off of skill-based matchmaking, but strictly off of ping because of the randomness. At some point, you're going to meet your match. Now, let's talk specifically why this version of skill-based matchmaking is terrible for 2K. So since they added it, we're already seeing issues for the last 2 years now with 2K players reaching those purple and red plates and not being able to find games or having just long wait times. Not supposed to happen inside of a casual playlist. Now, this seems like a bug they would have fixed last year, but why didn't they? Let me tell you the truth. Because despite the gaming companies saying skill-based matchmaking is for a fair playing experience, the real reason is because it generates more money. This is my biggest concern with 2K entering the skill-based matchmaking world the way that they did over the last 2 games, because we all know 2K is one of the greediest companies in the world. You would think that they would fix it after seeing this was a big problem on 2K25 with people just literally not being able to find games, but nope, they did nothing about it. And they did this because they already know how unbalanced the ratio is between high level players and low level players. Now, with them knowing how unbalanced that ratio is, they still had the audacity to not fix this on NBA 2K26 because they know they are forcing their higher level players to just have to make new builds, because making new builds means they're going to spend more money. And you could say I'm over exaggerating, but I don't don't care. That is flat out evil and greedy. What makes it even more evil is how they disguise it every year, how they make it easier for you to make a new build. Like, oh, you could just make a new build straight up now, get the rebirth, and just go straight to a 99. Just giving you access to do stuff like that. They're kind of trying to push you to spend money to make that new build. They want you to keep making builds, which ideally should be a good thing, but for them it's not really about the bills. They're just seeing the dollar signs. This literally goes hand to hand with skill-based matchmaking. I'm telling you, it's just in disguise. It's trying to make the game more convenient for us. Yeah, make your bills, go ahead, max them out right away, blah blah blah. But notice they did not make it that easy for us to do that until they made sure they implemented a skill-based matchmaking system, pretty much saying, sure, go ahead, make as much builds as you want, max them out, but just know once you get to the highest level on this build, you're not going to be able to find a game, so you might as well go make a new one. Which brings me right back to my point that when they say that skill-based matchmaking is for an equal playing experience, a fair playing experience for everybody, it is total BS. And if you're a skill-based matchmaking defender, let me just tell you why again. Because now those higher level players end up playing the exact same players that the game is supposedly trying to keep them away from. That red plate makes a new build and now he's playing against the bronze plates that the game didn't want him to play against. So if the goal was actually a fair playing experience, they're still failing at that because they're not providing one, because all these players are ending up playing each other anyway because you're pushing them to make new builds that start from new place, and the cycle just keeps going on. So if you are a skill-based matchmaking defender, or you're just in support of skill-based matchmaking being in 2K, I feel you. I'm not even really saying that skill-based matchmaking shouldn't be in 2K, but I'm telling you right now, this current form of skill-based matchmaking that we have right now has nothing to do with improving your playing experience. It's strictly for money. And it's just so easy for companies with cold followings to get away with this because so many people are just unaware of their playing experience and they don't notice that it's being manipulated. Competitive games in general, the ratio between poor and below average players is far greater than the number of good and above average players by a wide margin. So on the face of things, it looks like it only affects the better players, but it affects the lower skill players just as much because they cannot truly improve at the game. Now, the main reason I'm really worried about a franchise like 2K entering the skill-based matchmaking world is this is only the beginning. Data is going to show for the last 2 years how much more money that this made them. And a business mission after seeing that data is to figure out how to make even more, meaning that more matchmaking issues like we see already. And also what we got to worry about, you guys, is manipulated gaming experiences. This is exactly what Call of Duty did. Call of Duty started off with skill-based matchmaking and it slowly turned into this engagement optimized matchmaking. What does that look like for 2K? Let me tell you. 2K's version of this will most likely be removing one of the competitive modes, most likely Proving Grounds, to push players more towards the casual playlists like Theater, Park, and Rec. My prediction is that Proving Grounds will be gone in the next 2 years because of the lack of effort I saw that they put into it this year. The whole aesthetic, everything about Proving Grounds, it just doesn't look like they put as much energy into it as they did for 2K25 when they first introduced it. In fact, on the 2K25 videos that they dropped before the game comes out, when they talked about the city, it didn't even get a mention, really. They didn't focus on it. They didn't really talk about Proving Grounds at all. So yeah, that just tells me that that mode is going to be out of here within the next 1 or 2 years. Just think about it. Everything about Proving Grounds Arena this year, from the locker room to the course that looked like they just let AI throw something together, didn't even finish it and just threw it on there. These are all signs that they're just going to be moving away from this ranked mode that they put in, at least this version of ranked. I'm not saying that 2K won't have a competitive space like Proving Grounds again down the line, but at least this version of it, Proving Grounds, will not be here for more than 2 more years, you guys. A lot of players, actually including myself, ended up playing more Proving Grounds than casual playlists in NBA 2K25, and you see a lot of players doing the same this year because, again, like I said, these ranked modes end up being more casual for higher level players. Honestly, if you're a gold, purple, or red plate, you might have a more casual experience. It's just as much of a chance that you're going to have a more casual experience inside Proving Grounds than you will trying to hit the theater or the park, definitely the park. 100% guarantee that 2K saw the lack of people playing theater and park on NBA 2K25 and the amount of people in Proving Grounds, and they'll make that choice to just get rid of the mode completely. The reason is they want you inside of their engagement optimized modes, which is what theater, park, rec, and all those casual modes will become because, again, Proving Grounds is proper skill-based matchmaking. That is how skill-based matchmaking is supposed to be done, which is why I say to you people who think that we just don't want to play against competition, that's not the truth. That's not the problem. The issue is once you get to a certain level in the casual playlist, your casual playing experience is essentially just as tough as the ranked experience is sometimes even more difficult, because if more people are playing there, you're just going to run into more better people. So now what's going to stop me from just going to play Proving Grounds as a more casual playing experience? It pretty much defeats the whole purpose of having two separate modes. Something else that tells me that Proving Grounds will be gone is the extra incentive this year on NBA 2K26 to get people inside the park this year, making it one of the more competitive places on the game as a casual playlist. If you can read between the lines, 2K made it clear with their message this year that they want you playing inside the park and theater rather than Proving Grounds, because they saw how much people flocked to Proving Grounds last year. That's why there's so much incentive to play in the park this year, and that's why pretty much every other week, at least inside the theater, there's a double XP mode. They want you guys in there. They don't do anything for Proving Grounds. So if Proving Grounds is gone in the next couple years, that will literally make Pro-Am the only real comp mode again, where you need a squad to play, meaning that people are limited to even play the only competitive mode if they don't have a squad. What does that do? Pushes people to play the mode that's going to make you spend more money. This is how engagement optimized matchmaking happens, you guys. The goal of engagement optimized matchmaking is to keep every player as close to average as possible. You want the bad players to feel like they're decent, and you want the good players to not feel like they're too good, so you're not going to put them versus certain players. Things like microtransactions will actually have an ability to affect your gameplay. I'm telling you guys, look out for 2K the next 2 years. I'm going to sound crazy right now. This might all just be mumbo jumbo to some of you guys, but a lot of you guys will come back to this video in 2 years and just say, hey, this guy was actually on to something. I promise you. So despite what you skill-based matchmaking defenders and supporters saying support of skill-based matchmaking is for playing experience only, it's for everybody to have a fair chance, you guys are not wrong for feeling that way. You don't want to get on the game and just have to just play against sweats, or you just don't want to have to play against high competition. If you're not that good, I understand why you feel that way, but understand that this version of skill-based matchmaking that 2K has is not for your playing experience. They do not care about your playing experience. They care about income. Do not be fooled. If the goal was actually to create a fair playing experience for everybody, then the skill-based matchmaking will be modeled a completely different way than it is right now. Trust me, these devs see all the data every year, year in and year out. If they wanted to create an effective skill-based matchmaking system that was strictly focused on a fair playing experience for everybody, then they could do it. I could literally do it right now off the top of my head. I will actually. If 2K wants to have skill-based matchmaking, this is how it should actually work. So the first thing you're going to do is keep the casual court, because I actually like the idea of a casual court being inside 2K, but this is how you should do it. Instead of making it level based, you make it shot percentage based, and you also have to take off that lower difficulty. This would give actual lower skill players by numbers a place to actually go improve at the game by playing against each other, protected from the high skill players they have no business being matched with at the moment. To not be playing on a lower difficulty on the casual court. It should just be the standard, whatever theater set on, just have the casual court on whatever theater set on. I don't know if it's all-star or superstar, but that's what the casual court should be. Shouldn't be anything else. It should just all be based off percentages, and they should be playing on all-star or superstar just like the theater is. Let all the stats fall onto one, and once they start shooting a certain percentage in the casual court, then you should block it off. They shouldn't be allowed to play anymore once they get to a certain level. Skill-based matchmaking in 2K could really only work if it's using some type of percentage and stat-based system based off each individual player, because 2K in general just doesn't have enough plates. It doesn't have enough levels to have a fair skill-based matchmaking system based off plate color. Whether you're a black plate, a bronze plate, silver, or gold, if you struggle and your shooting percentage shows that you're not that good at the game, you should be able to access the casual court until your percentages are where the average percentage are across all players on the game. And then, like I said, once they hit that percentage, that mark, then they should not be able to play in the casual court no more. This is how players actually get better at games, because at some point you got to get thrown to the wolves. What 2K has right now isn't really skill-based matchmaking, in my opinion. It's their attempt at a protected playing experience that's pretty much failing horribly, because, again, like I said earlier in the video, once these red plates get to a certain level, they can't find a game. Now they're making new builds. Now you have red plates in disguise as black plates playing against real black plates and bronze plates. So who are we really protecting here, 2K? So again, if you're actually trying to improve playing experience, another thing that you would do, 2K, is for Theater Park and Rec, is to make it completely based off ping first. Ping is priority. Ping is king. You'll hear me say that on this channel a lot. So that means when you're inside the theater, when you're inside the park, when you're inside the rec, when you're just inside the waiting lobby, you're inside that lobby with players not based off their play color and skill, but strictly based off connection. Once you guys get inside of a game, that's where the skill-based matchmaking is supposed to happen. Skill-based matchmaking shouldn't happen until all players are matched up based off the best connection possible, which is not what's happening once you factor in play and skill. Once players are all inside the lobby, whether it's 3-on-3 or 5-on-5, that's where you use place. That's where you use skill-based matchmaking to determine how to divide teams up. That's how it should work if you're playing any of those modes solo, if you actually want to improve somebody's playing experience. Now, as for squads, if you're playing with the squad, I really don't think there should be much limitations as to who you could play against. I think low-level squads versus higher-level squads makes for some of the best content on 2K, video games in general, just because the idea of an upset, that's just something that everybody likes. If you like to watch anything competitive, the idea of an upset is just one of the best feelings that you could have just inside of a competitive space. Whether it's sports, gaming, or whatever it is, everybody loves a good upset. Now, if you don't get an upset and you get upset, you just get completely destroyed by a higher level squad, then okay. What gamer doesn't like to know where they rank amongst the better players? But when it comes to squads and having skill-based matchmaking, the only thing that should really matter when you're playing with the squad, especially a full squad, is just connection. If you guys are just play on the best connection possible, you might play against some weak players at first, and you might run into your match. You might run into your match first, and then you might string off 5 games in a row. That's what makes the casual playing experience a fun experience, and that's just kind of what we're losing out on in video games now, because everything is so controlled and just micromanaged by these companies who are just trying to give everybody the same experience. But if somebody's better at a game, they shouldn't be having the same experience as somebody who's not as good as the game. Or else how does the person who's not that good at the game know if they're ever getting better at the game? The problem is franchises like 2K, they want to implement skill-based matchmaking without taking the time out to balance with all the methods that I listed above. Every mode, especially skill-based matchmaking system that 2K has right now, just does not work at all skill-based matchmaking place, and it's just making it harder for higher level players to even play the game at all, and it's leaving lower level players just stagnant skill-wise, just bouncing in between lower levels. But even despite the flawed matchmaking, I really think that 2K took a leap this year, despite what the community says, despite all the complaints. I think the community has a tendency to just nitpick on the only basketball title we have. I have to give 2K credit alone for at least getting rid of RNG and listening to the community on that. But anybody who says that you guys wanted this and now look at what everybody's complaining about, the cheaters and stuff, blah, blah, blah. I just made a video about cheaters, you guys. RNG cannot be your anti-cheat. Like, that's lazy. If you guys think that RNG needed to be in the game for there to not be cheating, then this company that generates the income it does has you completely fooled, you guys. Like, 2K can come up with a good anti-cheat system if they put the money down to do it. So no, we don't need RNG to stop hackers. So I salute 2K for getting rid of RNG, despite all the people who are saying that RNG needs to be in the game to prevent cheaters. No, 2K come up with a real way to prevent cheating, because you guys make the money for it. You guys literally funnel money out of people every year for pretty much the same experience. And yeah, man, the least you guys could do is just prevent cheating, because now it's like 4 or 5 months into the game, and now we're just dealing with Zens on the regular. So yeah, get it together, 2K. To close this out, I'll just say this. I, as a 2K fan for a very long time, I'm actually very worried about 2K's future. And if you are a 2K player for a long time, you should be worried about the future of the franchise too, because I'm not sure where they're going. Again, once the game starts implementing matchmaking changes and stuff like this, you have to start to read between the lines and see what else is changing little by little through the year. Yes, they took away RNG. They listened to their community, and we celebrated that. But what else is going on? Because yes, they took away RNG, but they also added this skill-based matchmaking. This skill-based matchmaking is already creating problems. Those problems are really just making people spend more money, because once you get to a certain level, you can't find a game. You have to be very cautious and pay very close attention over the next few years. Because if it's one thing that 2K has showed us, is even with all these changes that we do like in the game, like rebirth and stuff, all of it is incentive to get us to spend more money. It's not really about us, ourselves, and our playing experience. Do with that information what you will. It's the casual gamer. You guys, I've been going up on Twitch, almost at 600 followers. Man, let's try to get 1,000 followers in the next 2 months. Can we do that? Can I get 1,000 followers on Twitch in the next 2 months? Right now, I'm at like 500 something. I think we could do it, y'all. But yeah, it's the casual gamer. Make sure you follow me on Twitch at JBashStreams. I'll leave everything down below. Let me know in the comments how you feel about skill-based matchmaking in 2K and what it means for the future. I'm out of here. I mean, you might be able to guard point guard for me, bro. I'm so sick of guarding point guards. I guess I ain't had too much today because my brother got a point. Is that another charge? Bro, I got like 4 offensive fouls this game. I'm on some shit. It's the easiest 40 of my life. Goddamn. Oh. Damn, you trying to double me and shit. Hold on now, you just pissed me off. I set him up. That's my bad. That's my bad. Three seconds, 10 seconds. How long was he just in the key chat? Like, god damn, they've been letting that shit slide today. He is not getting these contests off, bro. He's just spamming Y. I'm open. He ain't nowhere near me when I get my shot up. They just don't want me to drop 50. That's what it is. 13 for 20. Yeah, no, we ain't giving up points like that. Honestly, I'll probably give up the most points because I'll be on some cat off bullshit. But I'm going to give you at least 30 a game. So it's going to be cool. Oh, let me get that back, bro. He ain't giving it to me. They ain't fucking with me no more. There we go. My partner gonna give it to me though. I gotta get a bucket real quick. I really need to get middies for that challenge. Got him. Let's go. Get my assist up real quick. Gotta get to my average. I think I averaged 9. Finally, he made a shot. God damn, bro. He was pissing me off with all the misses. Think I can get 50 real quick. What's that? 44 to 50 in 1 minute. If I get the ball. We'll see. Let's see. They've been playing with my deep bomber all day today, bro. It's been so inconsistent. Oh, now you want to guard me. All right, 3 more. Get the 50 ball real quick. Oh, that's for 50 right here. Oh, boom. Oh, they thought I was going deep. It's what I do, bro. Hey, you see this right here, bro? This is what I do. Fuck is wrong with niggas, bro? It's free dubs over here. He ain't giving me the ball. Look at this hating ass nigga. Look at him, just hating. 50 McNugget, you feel me? Well done, extra crispy. Real niggas know you gotta tell McDonald's well done. They make it fresh. Pull over to the side real quick. With a light 7 assist. He pissing me off with these blocks, bro. He on some shit. He got something. He figured something out with this. Cause it don't seem like he's gonna get there, but he is there. That was ignorant. I'll take the 50. Let me stop fucking up my percentage. Exactly why I be staying at 59%. Type shit. 50 ball, get my 8 assists real quick. I call a timeout on them niggas. Give my 53. Oh, they ain't giving me the ball. Look at that. Look at that. That was me, bro. If I ain't call that timeout, he would not have got that 3. Unselfish.